Hi, I'm Laurie Bennie. I spoke at the church and I spoke about restorative justice. And I work for Mennonite Central Committee in their restorative justice department. I work with men who are in prison. In the M2 program, I take 30 volunteers in once a month, and they visit for 2 hours one-on-one with the inmates who are in for a long time and have no visitors. I also work with the COSA program. It stands for Circles of Support and Accountability. We provide, for the men who are coming out who are high risk to reoffend, we provide a trained circle of volunteers that meet with them every week to help them come back out into society and never reoffend again. I heard an expression once, violence is the sound that pain makes. And so if our society is able to work to reduce the pain in childhood, then there will be less angry men as adults who are causing harm. One of the ways that restorative justice is being used in our court system today is that the offender and a victim will meet. Perhaps there will be a woman whose house was robbed and she has agreed to meet with a burglar, not the burglar that she was a victim of, but a different burglar, and the two of them will have a conversation that will allow her to ask questions and to come to understand and to hear him speak about his crimes. Quite often she will be surprised to hear him say, I didn't target you in particular, I just happened to be in the neighborhood and it looked like an easy house. And quite often the men that I visit in prison say, I had no idea of the pain that I had caused. I did not realize the violation that I was inflicting on people. When the men are in prison, particularly the long-term offenders, they are given programming in prison that really makes a difference. And I am pleased to have watched the change in men. In particular, there's a sex offender high-risk program that they take in Bowdoin Institution. And they actually have to look at their childhood, their past, their wounds. They have to look at how the victim feels. They have to deal with anger issues and they have to deal with their addiction issues. And this is about a 6-month program, and the men come out different. Their eyes are open, they understand better. If they have put the work and the time into doing the healing on themselves, they come out different men than they went in. And so that's why one of the reasons COSA is successful is because of the programming they have received. They now desire nothing more than to come out and be successful and never offend again and be healthy members in a safe community. Our scriptures have many examples of restorative justice. When King David sinned and God forgave him, he had committed murder, and yet God said, I will take your sin away so that you will not have to die, and yet there will be consequences for you. And so he was restored in his relationship with God, and yet there were consequences for his whole family, in that there was violence and hatred within his own family and in his country for the rest of his life. There are consequences for sin even when he was forgiven by God. And in our world today, forgiveness is a way that we take the fish hook out of ourselves. When there is a crime committed, there is a relationship made between the victim and the offender simply because of the crime. And forgiveness is a removing of the fish hook of that relationship so that the victim can move on. And it doesn't mean that a relationship is restored. It does not mean that everything goes back to the way it was. There are consequences for sin.